I found an Uzbek deity at these coordinates. Honestly, this is how I expect God to act if he had the personality of, like, Uncle Grandpa. Like, technically omnipotent and omniscient, but chooses to use it for a gag and let only you see him because it's funny. And it really is only you who can see them there. I'm looking at a black image, and if you check the link that picture is at now, the deity is gone. He's a wandering Pokemon like Suicunes. Hi again, fellas, and today we're looking at r/Google Maps oddities, Google Earth finds, and a lot of subreddits like that, all of which are a little smaller than you would think, considering the world's collective obsession with GeoGuessr and how many people just have to use Google Maps day in, day out. You're bound to run into weird stuff. For example, I literally ran into one of these anomalies on accident as a kid. Me and my friends were staying up late at a sleepover just messing around on Google Maps. We were going to North Korea and other places we thought were funny to type on the keyboard because we had just learned how to type, but eventually we decided to mess around with the numbers pad and just type in some random coordinates into Google Earth. The results horrified us. Traumatizing stuff I will not describe to you now. What popped up was something so sick and twisted, like bad creepypasta levels of horror, that we all agreed to never speak of this again and just call it a night. Do you know how hard it is to get 5th graders to agree to a vow of silence? See, the problem is when I woke up the next morning, I couldn't tell if that experience was a dream or not, so I asked my friends if that really happened, and they all said no. So like you would think it was a dream, but we all swore not to speak of what happened last night. So I never found out if they were telling the truth or just keeping a promise that I was breaking. It's bothered me for a while now. Either way, Google Maps is traumatizing the children. If you enjoyed this video, this card at the end will take you to another one like it, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. This low overpass knocked the Street View camera off its mount. I do love that even though the camera went AWOL, it still managed to capture pictures and have a connection to give to Google Earth to display. I'm sure that Rainbolt could figure out exactly where this is, but in truth, a lot of places have a local overpass that is known for just decapitating trucks that are a little too tall. I've had like internet friends refer to their local overpass as the circumciser, you know, because it takes the top off. Alternatively, it's a reverse circumcision because the hood of your car is the only thing left. Everything taller than it has been turned into a forced convertible, a strange obelisk, and markers in the middle of the Mexican desert. I mean, kudos to the guys who had the balls to go out there and actually take pictures of the thing. That way I can find out about its existence from a distance. The thing is, I don't think I'm going to be very safe from this, considering there's a bunch of these around the world. That's literally the Washington Monument. I know for a fact that if you've ever seen the monument mythos, then the first thought you had about this image was the weird and fucked up tree that has to be inside this tomb. There's probably like hundreds of people who have been sacrificed to this beast in order to keep it tamed. Here, Google Earth finally revealed the truth about the pyramids. We were so curious how they managed to build pyramids back in the day out of bricks that weighed thousands of pounds at a time where, like, you don't have modern construction equipment. People just refuse to acknowledge that ancient Egyptians had sauce when it came to construction, so they try to say it's like aliens. But the truth is, the Egyptians did it, and what they managed to build is even more impressive than we realized. We were so busy looking up, we didn't dig down. We thought the only things down there were already ransacked tombs. Instead, we got like a double pyramid. Depending on which way you turn your head to the side, it looks like either a fast forward or rewind button. I guess that's why there's two of these structures, that way you can turn time backwards and forwards. And I want to stress, yes, the pyramids can time travel, but it's only because the Egyptians figured it out themselves. A blurred B-2 bomber, and you'll notice that like a lot of these objects that are caught in really fast motion from a satellite have this kind of RGB chromatic aberration effect. Whoever was piloting this B-2 bomber though, I am sure that he knows this ended up on Google Maps because it made the rounds, and all his buddies in the military must give him shit as the one stealth pilot that managed to get caught, not by like China or Russia or another foreign adversary, by Google. There's like a feature Google Maps has where you can set a named location at a bunch of different places. Their moderation on how to get the pin put on the map is a little lax, but tell me what you would name the location of the bomber. And before we continue, real quick, I want to tell you about my new YouTube's figure. This little fella coming out soon. Can't take him out the box, it's very valuable. This little dude got birthed as a result of y'all's overwhelming support. Y'all ran up the numbers on the plush, and I cannot thank y'all enough. And if you missed out on that plush run, this guy is another opportunity to have me inside your house. You'll be able to do whatever you want to him. I am at your mercy. And I can confirm this figure will fit inside most regulation standard jars. This dude goes up for sale on Tuesday, April 22nd, so mark that date on your calendar, and when it does, it's for a limited time only. Also, if you bought any merch from me in the past and it's starting to come in through the mail, please feel free to tweet it at me using hashtag #QuiteLoot. I'd love to see it. And also, thank you so much. Anyways, back to your regular programming. Okay, as far as like something being of consequence, this is probably the craziest Google Map find in this video. Not the weirdest or the strangest, just a whoa, that actually happened sort of thing. A 40-year-old man went missing after a night out. 22 years later, a local man was looking on Google Google Maps and spotted a car in the lake. When the car was searched, the missing man's skeletal remains were found inside. And here you have the screenshots of how you're able to tell from like the stratosphere that, yep, there's a Jeep in there. Having that clean-ass pool next to this grody lake with apparently a skeleton in it is a really fun compare and contrast. A juxtaposition, that's the word. But did the guy who lives in that house now never go to the property line near that little pond and check to see if there was anything in there? Like, I don't expect him to go swimming, but if you can see this from orbit, then surely you can see it from the grass. Here we have a dude just trying to take a picture of the scenery and a nice disembodied hand supporting him so he doesn't fall over. For one, the spread on that hand is gigantic. It is practically cupping around his entire lower back, and I can't tell if it's actually supposed to be a steadying hand of support that's stopping this dude from falling over, or if it's like possessive, because this just looks like to me how Omni-Man was grabbing Donald's spine in the season 1 of Invincible. Shit was like firm as hell and Donald was still keeping it pushing. Here we have a house on fire, man. Jesus. It's like bound to happen to somebody eventually, but like I do feel bad for the poor sucker who by chance has a life-changing disaster and it gets caught on satellite image. Like, this house could be completely rebuilt by now. Whoever the homeowner was has completely recovered from this accident. They could be in their kitchen right now as we discuss their formerly on fire house, but every time they give their address to a friend for the first time and that person looks it up on Google Maps for directions on how to get there, if they have satellite imagery on, they are going to see those smoke plumes and they're going to have a great conversation starter about your life whether you want them to or not. This is a flipped over ship in North Korea, possibly a yacht. Whatever ship that is looks like it's big enough that if it had crashed somewhere else in the world, it might have gotten its own YouTube video documenting the whole thing minute by minute. Shout out Bright Sun Films. Weird PNGs in the street view images of the Republic of the Congo. Before we look at these, they're really weird, so I'm gonna say that no word on if they actually appear in thin air when you go to these locations. So first, we have just a really poorly cropped eye on the TV. One little Easter egg I'm gonna tell you all about to look for in the future, because this image reminded me of how much better I am at masking eyes over things than this guy is. Pretty often in thumbnails and certain advertisements, I just love to stick on the Brendan Fraser crying eyes over my own, or really whoever I'm talking about on a given day. They show up in the place you least expect when you least expect it. We got another one of like a dude who's got a tree growing out of his mouth. Ain't that just a version of the Hanahaki fic where the flowers grow out of your mouth if your crush doesn't like you back? You know, being lovesick, loving someone so much you would die over it. I'm seeing a lot of eyeballs over here. Like, we got this one dude who's just probably on his way to work on his bicycle. I like to imagine that there was actually a real dude on his bike in this picture, and whoever posted this as a troll just pasted over him. Yeah, this dude in my neighborhood just actually looks like this big eyeballed freakazoid. There's like just a really nonchalant looking cow. Congrats to the Moo guy on getting into Mario Kart, by the way. The comments have looked into these, and the more interesting story is where they actually come from. Like, these are supposedly street view images in the Republic of the Congo, but they're clearly taken in other places. It was apparently confirmed to be from Lincoln, Nevada. Moving on, we have a guy who was bored and used it in a little more productive of a way than just like trolling on the internet. I posted a couple months ago about a Jeep stuck in a pond near Key West, Florida. Today, a friend of mine went and found it, but I like to imagine that like this is an IRL of the original poster, and he just did not want to go on the hunt himself, so he told his friend, he's like, listen man, I need some Reddit karma, can you like go find it for me? And to his credit, he did pull it off. That is absolutely a Jeep in the water. The way that water looks from like a bird's eye view versus how it does up close is always really interesting to me. I know it has to do with like lighting and stuff, but I like to imagine it actually is because it changes properties depending on where you're standing, like it's a video game. Basically, I'm a bigger fan of lying to myself than I am about accepting reality for what it is. Now, this is less an oddity of something you found on Google Earth and more about something that Google Earth did. Just absolutely tore up the side of someone's car. I remember hearing that Google Earth vans that drive around were self-driving for literal years now, but I never learned how true that was, because it feels like people only talk about self-driving being made only in like the last decade or so. Google Earth was not the one that shivved this car in the side, it just caught the dude in the act. If this was like a hit and run and you didn't exchange insurance, would the pictures that Google Earth took count as evidence? Aw man, this post when it got originally made would have been like a really wholesome thing that somebody could enjoy and try right now. Alas, this was 6 years ago and things have changed in that time. If you drag the street view peg over Windsor Castle, you become the queen! No, I don't want to die! Listen, the queen had a good run. It's not like she didn't get her fill on Earth. Like, it's sad that she died and I hope her loved ones are doing well, but come on, man! In order to boost tourism, the Jinhua village in China built a giant QR code from 130,000 trees so it can be scanned by passing planes. And here we are doing the boring version of that, looking at it from a bird's eye view on the internet. Part of me like really wants to go to China and then go to random places in it to see shit like this, but I imagine it would be a lot more underwhelming at ground level because because I'm short, am probably less tall than the hedges, and it's just gonna look like a normal garden to me, and I'll have wasted several $1,000s making the trip. And listen, man, Speed is running an incredible propaganda campaign about what you can find in China. I don't mean like rehabilitating the image of the CCP. I just mean he's doing cool shit. He did a backflip on the palm of a mountain's hand. How can you not think that's sick? This is the number of public saunas in Finland. Can somebody pull up that one text post, potential of Finland being completely fake? Okay, my problem is this map and all the pins on it do, yes, convey that there are a lot of saunas on Finland. The title of the post, though, is the number of public saunas. I'm sorry, do you expect me to fucking count these? Like, I'm really impressed that the Finnish people, like, all together collectively enjoy sweating themselves to 1% water content, like, as a national pastime. Like, these start overlapping so hard in the population centers that they become voids. Bro, I am running a peer-reviewed study. I need concrete numbers. Third base in this baseball field is in a completely different state, where most of the field is in Massachusetts. If you manage to get to third base, you're going to be in Rhode Island. Really puts the intro Family Guy in perspective. Seems today like all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV. Get to third base with the lady, you're gonna be in Quahog, you know what I'm saying? This just fell apart so fast. What was I even trying to do? Here we have just an honest-to-goodness photo bomb, a real wholesome one. I overhear my neighbor screaming, "It's here! It's here!" And a few weeks later, I stumble onto this. Thank you, OP. I know where you live now, or at least where you lived 6 years ago. Do you think there's like a channel for people who like try to get onto Google Maps by running up to the van when they see it pass by, to reach out to Google and unblur their face because they clearly wanted to be seen? I can't tell if he's flicking them off and they're blurring his hands, or if he's just showing his guns off. Now here we have like just a comically censored patch on Google Maps satellite images. Like, this feels like the mosaic effect in Photoshop just absolutely blasted to the max. And what they're hiding in there isn't the funny part so much as it is how bluntly the information got delivered to me. Prison. One word properly capitalized, period at the end. That's all you need to know. If you ever see it again, this is probably the context. Have fun with that however you will. Now this guy found on Street View what was essentially just a real-life stop-motion animation. Does life imitate art, or does art imitate life? This guy is on a bike in a clearly walkable city, and it doesn't seem like he's doing anything too out of the ordinary right now. Maybe other than wearing a suit in the damn thing. I'd be afraid of tearing my pants. The camera follows him a little longer as he continues to trudge down the alleyway, and then he hits a jump, man. He just starts BMXing. This probably wasn't even that crazy, but it's the implied insanity of the trick he did that is enjoyable. He could have done some of the most gravity-defying shit in between pictures. I don't know. I have to use my imagination. They cut an entire slice out of a mountain to make room for some tennis courts. Apparently this is in Brazil, and like, yeah, this is a really striking image. Like, I would love to play a game of pickup here just for the vibes, man. On a hot summer day, the shade of the mountain you cut in half just keeping you cool. The thing is, I'd probably only do it once and as soon as possible if given the chance, because in the comments somebody said, it's their property, they can do what they want, but I am an engineer, and that is a ticking time bomb. A landslide waiting to happen. It feels like the type of landscape gets sculpted on Minecraft in order to get the vibes just right in your new world with friends that you'll forget about in 2 weeks. And the last one we have is a deployed life raft that has been stuck in the same place since 2017. There's a slideshow of images that just kind of show it looking miserable on a beach over the course of years. It's probably tides, but I'm gonna pretend that the sea level is rising and that's why the shoreline is getting smaller. I hope whoever was on that life raft got discovered and brought back home, or at the very least is surviving by the skin of their teeth on the island they washed up to. Regardless, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Remember to keep an eye on that U2's launch next Tuesday. That card I mentioned should be on screen, and if you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.